Ruth Chapter 1, Naomi and Ruth. I'm reading from the ESV Bible. In the days when the judges ruled, there was a famine in the land, and a man of Bethlehem in Judah went to sojourn in the country of Moab, he and his wife and his 2 sons. The name of the man was Elimelech, and his wife, she was called Naomi, and the names of his 2 sons were Mahlon and Chilion. They were Ephrathites from Bethlehem in Judea. They went into the country of Moab and remained there. But Elimelech, the husband of Naomi, died, and she was left with 2 sons. These took Moabite wives. The name of the one was Orpah, and the other one was named Ruth. They lived there for about 10 years, and both Mahlon and Chilion died, so that the woman was left without her 2 sons and her husband. Ruth's loyalty to Naomi was incredible. Then Naomi rose with her daughters-in-law to return from the country of Moab. She had heard in the fields of Moab that the Lord had visited his people and given them food. So she set out from that place where she was with her 2 daughters-in-law. And they went on the way to return to the land of Judah. But Naomi said to her 2 daughters-in-law, "Go, return each of you to your mother's house. May the Lord deal kindly with you, as you have dealt with the dead and with me. The Lord grant that you may find rest, each of you, in the house of her husband." Then she kissed them, and they lifted up their voices, and they wept. And they said to her, "No, we will return with you to your people." But Naomi said, "Turn back, my daughters. Why will you go with me? Have I yet sons in my womb, that they may become your husbands? Turn back, my daughters, go your way, for I am too old to have a husband. If I should say I have hope, even if I should have a husband this night and should bear sons, would you therefore wait till they were grown? Would you therefore refrain from marrying? No, my daughters, for it is exceedingly bitter to me for your sake that the hand of the Lord has gone out against me." Then they lifted up their voices and they wept again. And Orpah kissed her mother-in-law, and she left, but Ruth clung to her. And Naomi said to her, "See, your sister-in-law has gone back to her people and to her gods. Return after your sister-in-law." But Ruth said, "Do not urge me to leave you or to return from following you. For where you go, I will go, and where you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord do so to me, and more also, if anything but death parts me from you." And when Naomi saw that she was determined to go with her, she said no more. So Naomi and Ruth returned. The 2 of them went on until they came to Bethlehem. And when they came to Bethlehem, the whole town was stirred because of them. And the woman said, "Is this Naomi?" She said to them, "Do not call me Naomi. Call me Mara, for the Almighty has dealt very bitterly with me. I went away full, and the Lord has brought me back empty. Why call me Naomi, when the Lord has testified against me, and the Almighty has brought calamity upon me?" So Naomi returned, and Ruth the Moabite, her daughter-in-law, with her, who returned from the country of Moab. And they came to Bethlehem at the beginning of the barley harvest. So this chapter opens with an Israelite family who are struggling in Bethlehem. Elimelech and his wife Naomi with their 2 sons, Mahlon and Chilion. As we read, there was a famine in the land, and they decided to leave their home and move to a land called Moab, a place where people did not worship Yahweh, the Jewish God. They were struggling to survive in Bethlehem. There was no food, there was a famine. But have you ever thought about the other families surrounding them in Bethlehem? Would they have not been suffering too? Would they also have needed food? Did they leave or did they stay? Did Elimelech and Naomi's decision to leave and go to Moab improve their lives? Let's see. We read that they lived there in Moab, and we read they lived there for 10 years. But the father of the family dies, and he left Naomi, his wife, as a widow with 2 sons and 2 foreign daughters-in-law, Orpah and Ruth. They were Moabites. And then the 2 sons die, and then she is left just with 2 Moabite daughters. Naomi decides to return home, and she encourages the 2 widowed daughters to stay behind. Why? Is it perhaps that she knows that back home in Bethlehem, no Jewish man would marry a woman who is not Jewish or a foreigner? Their law requires them to marry another God-fearing Jewish woman and to stay away from foreigners like Moabites and Ammonites. This we find in Deuteronomy 23 verses 3 and 4. In addition to that, it is part of their belief system that a close relative, a kinsman redeemer, is responsible, even if he is already married, to marry the widow to help her bear children and continue the family line of the person that is deceased, the deceased relative. So if we look in this context, Naomi says, I'm too old to bear more sons for you to marry. Orpah responds, okay then, I'll return to my people and to their gods, as I am sure she wanted to marry again and to have children of her own. Ruth responds differently. Her love for Naomi and Naomi's God is astounding. She is willing to leave her home place, everything she knows, to support Naomi, and says, your people will be my people, and your God will be my God. Naomi must have taught her about her God, for Ruth's desire for him to be her God is incredible. There is no promise of another husband or children, just being the helper to Naomi and being loyal to her and her God. Naomi changes her name to Mara, which means bitter in Hebrew. She changes her name before she returns to Israel. Ruth does not change her name, but she has also lost a husband and is also a widow. I encourage you to read the questions that are attached to this study. Answer the questions together in your group. May you discover the truths that not only impacted Naomi and Ruth's lives, but will also impact yours.